Hi everyone, I am Zeiss, and on this channel I turn you into an RPG master. So, if that's something you're interested in, make sure to smash the subscribe button and keep in touch. Now, there are 10 things, actually more, but let's focus on those 10 things that I want to see in Diablo 4 Season 5 or at some point in the game, hopefully not in 10 years. So first things first, Diablo in the Diablo game, and I literally mean it. And even why not in its tormented echo form? Because echo is actually death loop. That's what it means, and they got that part correctly. So why not bring more of those bosses and make them actually hard so we can actually see what they're doing, right? Okay, moving on to solo mode, because pretty sure I'm not the only one who is annoyed by the group advantage and the leechers in the open world. Why not just give us solo mode, solo mode ranking, stuff like that, where we can only see players in town, but not being able to interact with them in trading. That's totally fine. Even if they bring Action House at some point, just disable it for solo mode and that's it. Okay, moving on to more leaderboards. Not just for the gauntlet, but pretty much for more activity, more stats. More stats on your character. Like, why do I have to die in order to see how many hours I played with the character? Why do I have to always scroll down on the character sheet, right? Let's say I want to check damage reduction with Soulbrand. So I drink a potion and I open the inventory. I press the button on stats and I have to scroll all the way down and usually at this point the potion effect and the Soulbrand effect is gone, usually. Especially on console. On PC, not that hard, but on console, that's the case. And it doesn't stick like on PC and so forth and so on. Which reminds me of mouse and keyboard for console. When is that coming? I mean, it's the same game. The game already has it on PC. What's the problem on having it on console? Like, imagine chatting with those people which are on PC and they're typing and you want to say something, but you have to use the controller to navigate through letter to letter until you actually tell them what you want to say, right? Because nobody uses the party chat, not many. I've partied a lot for the groups for the boss advantage, and it was, I think, only just 2 or 3 times someone was actually using this party chat, and we could only see that they were talking but couldn't actually hear anything. So that's something. More social features. Okay, crafting. Tampering rendered most of the uniques useless, right? So I believe +1 to tampering on the uniques to actually make them unique and the way we want to use them, that could actually be a really good thing. How about some currency to stick an affix once it's tampered to the item? How about resetting tampering overall with some expensive currency, like which is even more rare than the Resplendent Spark or the Stygian Stones or whatever, right? What about even more options for the crafting system? That would be really cool. Also, why not a damage reduction recipe? Currently, with most of the gear and fully masterworked, we can get like 80 damage reduction. I believe it could be better, because 80 sometimes is not really enough. Okay, moving on to resource exchange. Like, did you have this case where you have like 1 billion of each gem except the ruby, just a few thousand, right? So that could be a thing with you too, I guess. Even if it's like 1 to 10, say you want to get 10,000 ruby fragments, for 100,000 amethyst fragments, right? Why not? Something like that. I believe many of the hardcore players are missing ruby fragments, and probably many of the softcore players are missing, say, topaz for intelligence, or whatever their class main stat gem is. You get the idea, right? Okay, the prisms are initially kinda rare, then you can't really spend them. I think that's a really good example of how they didn't really balance it well. So maybe more sources to get those prisms, not just the world bosses and potentially goblins and so on, right? Crystals. Have you had this case where you have hundreds and hundreds of thousands of forgotten souls and whatever the sigils were, but just 1000 veiled crystals? So I believe some resource exchange should be a thing in this game. And not to forget about the bundled herbs. I believe it's a great idea, but currently the best way to get those bundled herbs, no, it's not the open world. It's not with the plant node map and going after those. Of course not. It's by failing events in dungeons, because if you don't do the mastery in the dungeon, you get 150 bundled herbs, but if you do the mastery, you just get 17. I believe it should be the other way around, and those numbers should be tuned, right? There are probably more examples, but I don't want to go into much detail right now. So let's move on to better class balance, even inside the class. I mean, how come barbarians, for example, are still fast, strong, and tanky no matter the build? How come stupid bullshit like perma flame shield is still in the game, while actually you can die with this shield on? That's a bug. You can actually die with the protecting aspect too. For some reason, sometimes it doesn't trigger. And we're not talking only about dot damage here, right? And there are, for example, different activities in the game where different builds, even within the same class, are better. And we have to either respec for that specific reason, for that specific content, just to be more optimal, and some kind of loadout or armory, like there is, for example, for the wardrobe, for the cosmetics, where you can save how your character looks and with some gold buy another preset slot. Why not give us this for the build itself, like the items being used, skill points, paragon, so on and so forth. Even if it costs some resource to respec it every time, I believe especially these softcore guys would really appreciate this, right? Because it will be very easy to swap between builds. I know that right now the game is kinda hardcore friendly. Well, we can level up in just a few hours to level 100, but this is when the game actually begins, right? So maybe some kind of armory or a build loadout, that would be really cool, right? And how about things in the tooltips actually working? That would be really nice, don't you think? Like, many things are not working. Every patch we see something fixed, but 50 other things broken. That's a no-go. The game needs better management and better game directors, I believe. So that's also a thing. How about also more endgame? Wait, those are more than 10 things already. I stopped counting actually, but probably there are more than 10 things. Okay, also let's move to the item system a bit. Why is Necromancer stupid to use a stick? I mean, a staff. Why Barbarian can't use a shield? Bash Barbarian with a shield, that sounds pretty good, don't you think? For example, right? I believe those things should be tuned. I mean, what's the problem of wielding two wands instead of one then a focus. What's the problem with using 2 shields? That's a joke, of course, right? We don't have a paladin yet. Wait, probably because Diablo is still not in the game. And it's not invading Hell Tides. And it's not nearly impossible to kill unless you're a barbarian. I mean, I got carried away already, so let's stop right here. Probably... Yeah. Anyway, just let me know what you think about this in the comments, and what do you want to see in Diablo 4 from season 5 onwards, which hopefully doesn't take them 10 years to do. I will be very interested to read what you have in mind, like what you want to see in the game. I guess not much to add here, so I'll go my way. Hope you liked this one. I'll see you on the next one. Zeiss out. Take care.